News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
The National Guard has arrived to help fight fires. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Wednesday, August 19th, 2015. Right now, the sky is mostly clear. I can actually see the outlines of the mountains right now. Couldn't do that yesterday. Still pretty smoky, though. It is 50 degrees in Missoula. And our newscast this morning, sponsored by Kootenai Creek Village, the maintenance-free active adult community in Stevensville, where you'll find the best of Western Montana living. Call 777-5387. This morning's top story, the Montana National Guard has sent 4 helicopters and 48 soldiers to help fight wildfires in response to a shortage of resources in the state. Major Chris Lundy said yesterday 2 Chinook helicopters, along with support and security personnel, were sent to fires burning near Libby. 1 Black Hawk helicopter and its support crews were sent to the Northern Rockies Coordination Center. Another was sent to the State Department of Natural Resources and Conservation's Central Land Office north of Helena. Lundy says federal and state officials there will determine which fires they'll help suppress. Governor Steve Bullock this past weekend issued an emergency declaration authorizing use of the National Guard. The Wild Horse Point fire, we have an update on that from the DNRC. It's about 7 miles south of Huson, caused by lightning. It's 132 acres in size and 25% contained. The fire crew consists of 100 personnel. Multiple engines and heavy equipment were on the fire yesterday, as well as multiple crews. Aircraft was not needed yesterday. No structures are currently threatened by that fire. Well, staying with that theme, Missoula County's had Stage 1 fire restrictions in place for months. But Department of Natural Resources and Conservation spokesman Jordan Copen says many people are still breaking the rules when it comes to campfires.
Even on the weekdays, especially on the weekends, too, they go out and recreate. They want to have their campfires, and it seems like many of them should know by now that we are still in Stage 1. We're in the middle of fire season, and it's extremely important to follow these rules. We don't want any human-caused fires right now while we're fighting the fires that are caused by lightning.
Copen says fire crews respond to illegal campfires many times every week.
Probably throughout the Southwestern Land Office. I couldn't give you a total number, but it's numerous. Probably well over 15 to 20. And that's just with people having campfires where sometimes they think they can and they can. It's just one of those things that you got to know where you're at and what location does and does not allow campfires.
Illegal campfires an even greater threat to public safety now that firefighting resources are currently maxed out in western Montana. Copen reminds people to go to firerestrictions.us for the Stage 1 restriction guidelines. 27-year-old Daniel Redmond is being held on $25,000 bail after allegedly beating and strangling his girlfriend at their home in Missoula. Redmond appeared via video from the Missoula County Jail yesterday before Judge Karen Orzek. Deputy Missoula County Attorney Celine Kepke explained why the bond request was so high at $25,000.
The defendant only has a disorderly conduct conviction on his criminal history, but the state believes high bond is warranted because other prior violent incidents, or at least one prior violent incident, has been reported, and the strangulation in this case was significant.
Court records indicate Redmond struck his victim several times and placed her in a chokehold, resulting in her receiving 14 bruises and a red spot in her eye. Orzek placed Redmond back in jail on $25,000 bond for the felony charge of aggravated assault. She warned the defendant that she was serious about there being no contact with the victim.
And I mean, if there is one Facebook post, if there's one phone call, if there's one rose on the seat of the car, you're going back in at $50,000.
Redmond's next court appearance is September 2nd. A Chippewa Cree tribal court jury has cleared tribal chairman Ken St. Marks of defrauding the tribe and ordered the tribe to pay him more than $200,000 for his company's work on a pipeline project. St. Marks was elected chairman of the Tribal Business Committee in 2012. He's been thrown out of office and reelected 3 times since. St. Marks has argued that he was impeached for cooperating with a federal fraud investigation that led to the conviction of nearly 24 tribal members and business associates. At Monday's City Council meeting, council members voted overwhelmingly to allow Missoula's Draftworks Brewery to have a conditional use tavern license. The new license would allow Draftworks to serve more than 48 ounces of beer to its customers and to stay open much later than its current 9 p.m. closing. Councilors debated on how late the establishment should be allowed to stay open, but ended up allowing a 2 a.m. closing. DraftWorks owner Jeff Grant said he has no plans to stay open that late.
As far as hours, we will do somewhat of an increase in hours. We by no means tend to be a 2 a.m. bar. It's not our model whatsoever. But, in the summertime, we're excited that people will be able to get off the river when it's still daylight and come in and have a beer.
Most breweries will pursue a tavern license when they produce over 10,000 barrels a year, but the story's different for DraftWorks.
We probably will be somewhere around 3,000 barrels or slightly less. But we are growing our facility, and we'll be doing so probably in the next year or two. And what that allows us to do is we will be able to look at equipment that could take us above 10,000 at this juncture, which is very nice for growth.
To maintain the conditional use license, in true Missoula fashion, DraftWorks is required to build a bike corral. The Missoula Organization of Realtors announced yesterday it's supporting 2 local school bond issues totaling nearly $158 million. MOR President Mike Nugent said the benefits of school improvements will outweigh the necessary hike in property taxes.
Technology infrastructure, high-speed internet, and things like that are just too important to not address. That being said, we feel very strongly that every time anything comes up that's going to raise taxes, it's something that we need to look more closely at as a community. A lot of people don't realize that taxes going up 5% every year certainly impact the ability of people to qualify for mortgages.
Online real estate sites like Zillow give Missoula schools high rankings already, with most schools getting 7 to 9 and a range of 10. Missoula doing comparatively well. Nugent was asked if there was much room for school improvement in the eyes of home buyers.
I think to say that, they're functioning well right now, so let's not invest in them going forward, really doesn't make any sense. I understand the premise of the question, and I certainly understand the concern about taxes going up, and we share it 100%. We just feel that if we don't invest in our schools continually, we're going to fall behind, and I think now is a good time to do this.
The increase in taxes, if both bonds go through, is expected to be a little more than $200 a year for a home valued at $200,000. Nugent said school quality is a big deal for the real estate market because it's one of the first questions most prospective home buyers will ask. Our News Talk time now is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
High pressure sets up for the middle of the week. Smoky sunshine and warming temperatures are expected, with highs climbing into the mid to upper 80s. We're tracking a cold front that will cool our temperatures by Friday. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.